Welcome, everybody. Hey, Debbie. Wow, Iran. Salam. Amazing. We're worldwide here. Let's see here. Catherine. Hey, Catherine from Brewster Tech College. Miami. Broward. Welcome, everybody. Vero Beach. From Madrid, Esther. Hola, ¿cómo está? Wow, we are worldwide, my friends. I feel it. I feel the worldwide love here. Fantastic. Excellent, everybody. Well, listen, while we are waiting for everyone to come in here, I just wanted to welcome you to Webinar Wednesday. Continue to put in the chat where you're joining us from. While you're doing that, I just want to give some music credit here to my brothers in music, the Maharaja Flamenco Trio. That's what you're listening to now. If you're in Tallahassee on October 20th, we will be opening for the legendary Gypsy Kings. No joke. So come. If you're in, Debbie, I'm talking to you here. If you're in Tallahassee, if you're around Tallahassee, come to the show. And it's going to be an amazing time. If you're in Spain, come to come to Tallahassee to see the Gypsy Kings. All right, everybody. Okay, let me turn down the music here. We'll crank up the party later in Tallahassee. So, but for now, I just want to thank you for being present today, either by being here live or viewing the video later. I also want to support your decision on creating the time and the space in your day, in your busy day, to invest in yourself and your professional development. Our mindset, our knowledge, our skills, our attitudes, our abilities, they're some of the most valuable assets that we have in life. And investing in ourselves always pays off for ourselves, for our colleagues, for our communities, our students. So my name is Ramin Yazdan Pana, and I have the honor and pleasure to lead us today in our webinar, Cultivating a Community of Professional Development and Teaching Practice Online. So this webinar should be of interest to teachers and administrators, coordinators of adult ESOL programs, as I'll present and discuss an online professional development course available to all adult ESOL educators in the state of Florida. Okay. So before we jump into the webinar, I just wanted to, while I have your full attention here, just to let you know about a couple of courses that we have available. Of course, I'm going to be focusing on course 1 in this webinar, discussing course 1, Introduction to Teaching Adult ESOL. But we also have another course that is a subsequent course to course 1, course 2, Teaching Adult ESOL Skills for Student Success. So we will be offering this course starting October 2nd. It goes to January 19th. There's some space in there for the winter holidays. The cost is free. It is funded, supported by funds from the Florida Department of Education. And it's an excellent opportunity. It really is to engage in professional development. And so if you're interested, for this semester, the instructors are going to be myself, as well as my colleague Alexander Ramirez. So if you would like to register for the course, I'm going to drop in the link here in the chat. If you have any questions, you can contact the IPDE director, June Rawl, and you can see her email there. The cutoff date is September 22nd. I will say that this is a very highly in-demand course. I think we're about at the limit, but we will be offering a course offering in the spring of 2024. So if you can't make it in this course offering, you can make it in the spring. Okay. And just so you know as well, for all of those who complete the certificate, you will receive a 50-hour certificate of completion from the Florida Department of Education, as well as IPDAY. Okay. You're welcome, Audrey. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of mute my video so we can focus on the presentation here, but I'll be back, I promise you. And we see here that just some housekeeping things to remember. Okay, so we'll use the Q&A option mostly at the end of the webinar. So that's question and answers at the end of the webinar. But we'll use the chat option for most of our interaction during our webinar. So as we're doing right now, you'll be in listen only mode. So the more you can engage in the chat, the better. Before we get started, I just want to thank the positive and brilliant IPDAY team, June, Tammy, and Joseph, for their support. They have provided this presentation in PDF format on the IPDAY website, and the recording will be available within 48 hours for your review and for sharing with your colleagues. So I sincerely hope your experience in this webinar contributes positively to your professional development. All right. So to start, let's define communities of practice, or COPs. If you would, type in the chat what words come up when you think of a COP, when you think of a community of practice. Just the first thing that comes to mind, share that if you would in the chat. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds here. Thank you, Christine. Share ideas, absolutely. A lot of sharing ideas. Let's see here. Connection, same goals. Yes. Okay. We share the same goals as adult ESOL educators. Connection, teamwork. Absolutely. Keep them coming. Oh, we got another teamwork here. Good. Okay. A group of people sharing ideas. Absolutely. So as those are coming in, I want to share the following descriptors of a COP from author and teacher educator Betsy Parrish. So according to Betsy Parrish, COPs are small groups of teachers that meet in person, online, synchronously, and or asynchronously. We devote time to support one another through active listening and exploration of common issues and concerns that we are having in our teaching. So I'd like to add to this definition and distinguish communities from groups. So although we can certainly learn from a group, communication and contact is often limited in terms of breadth and depth of interaction and information. So in contrast, a community of learning and teaching practice is more interested in sustained connection and collaboration, cultivating a supportive environment for deeper sharing of our teaching experiences, challenges, strengths, and goals. So you can see that that's a safe space as well, right? And can involve a lot of vulnerability, a lot of opening up. You need trust, and that takes some time to build. So as a teacher of adult students, I know firsthand how isolated and insular teaching can be, right? Even when there is supportive environment among colleagues at the school level, opportunities to learn, apply, and discuss teaching methods in diverse teaching contexts with other educators around the state is highly valuable. So these communities of teaching practice support and reinforce reflective teaching practice and a growth mindset that benefit teachers, students, and the goals of our programs in the immediate and in the long term. So let's pause for a minute here, okay? And I want us to envision how a COP, how a community of practice could benefit your future self, okay? Your future teacher self, your future self. So indulge me here. If you're able, just take a deep breath, all right? Just listen to your surroundings. Try not to judge anything as good or bad. If there's noises, if there's a lawnmower in the background, if there's people making, screaming, don't worry about it. Just listen, just take it in. All right. So I'd like you to take another deep breath. Relax. Relax your body. Connect to how you feel. Again, try not to judge anything as good or bad. Just feel how you're feeling. All right. So now we're in this space where we can envision a little bit. And I want us to envision yourself 3 to 5 years from now. See yourself. See how beautifully you have aged. And I want you to connect and see that future you as a friend. You can say hello to that future you. Smile at that future you. See that future you as a friend. Now ask yourself, what can I do now that will benefit that person? In what ways am I responsible for ensuring that the person is supported across all aspects of professional and personal well-being? Intellectually, mentally, physically, socially, spiritually, physically, financially. What can I do now to support that person, that friend? And finally, ask yourself, how can being a part of a community of professional teaching practice support that goal? So if you would, in 4 words or less, provide an example of how a community of teaching practice might be beneficial to you, to your future you, and to others. So if you could just share that in the chat. Stay sharp. That's good. That's good, Christine. Yeah, shared knowledge. Brenda Johnson, continued learning and sharing. Give, accept, input, ideas. Yes, willingness to learn from one another. I love this. Sharing, staying sharp, keeping a growth mindset, having a willingness to learn from each other. Consensus can be comforting. And shared experiences. Good. Thank you, everybody. All right. So let's move on here. So let's see how some additional benefits that you mentioned. I listed some here. So we can build greater confidence through communities of practice. We can develop our attitudes, knowledge, and skills that are beneficial to ourselves, our students, and colleagues. We can cultivate professional networks across the state, nation, and world. We see that right here in our webinar. We can share resources and classroom applications to make our jobs easier and more effective. And we can connect to professional opportunities, whether that be for employment, presentations, leading workshops, and develop our professional teacher identity, leading to greater motivation, happiness, and overall well-being, right? So we know that you can't separate really your professional and personal worlds. Of course, there's a separation there, but if you love what you're doing, if you're stimulated in what you're doing, if you're connecting and social in what you are doing professionally, that's going to make you a happier person outside of the classroom as well. So cultivating a COP was really the central goal that informed the design and development of the course Introduction to Teaching Adult ESOL, which we're going to talk about here. Dedicating, the time to establish a COP is much like establishing a garden. It takes some upfront time and energy, as well as keeping some maintenance. It's always easier with the help of some friends. But the veggies, the fruits that come in form of greater confidence and ability in the classroom, greater networks and connections to other professionals and opportunities in the field, as well as a healthier professional identity as an educator, make it all worth it. So the following are the topics that we will now explore and are related to the previous offering of the course, An Introduction to Teaching Adult ESOL. We have run this course now for two cohorts, but across many different places around the state of Florida. So this is we're going to get some participant perspective as well to share to get a better idea of how this community of practice benefited them. So we're going to have an overview of the course design, course outcomes, the module topics, module activities, as I mentioned, student feedback on the course, some lessons learned, and some potential course modifications based on student feedback and teacher observations. So I hope this is informative not only to those who are interested in this PD opportunity, but also to those of you who might be interested in developing online, sustained, and high-quality PD courses. So if you are interested in that, stay tuned. And if you have any questions, you want to talk shop, you can always reach out to us. So the course Introduction to Teaching Adult ESOL is an online asynchronous professional development course for teachers of adult ESOL. The learning management system we utilize is Canvas. It's a web-based LMS used by learning institutions, educators, and students worldwide. The course is focused on andragogy, second language learning theory, and ESOL teaching methodology, and is informed by the Florida Teacher Standards for ESOL. The Quality Matters CPE rubric, Continuing Professional Education rubric, was used in the development and review of the course design. And the Quality Matters CPE rubric is a set of 8 general standards and 43 specific review standards used to evaluate and aid the design of online and blended courses. So I highly recommend that you check that out if you are designing an online professional development course. So the following are course outcomes that guided the development of the module activities. So upon completion of the course, you will be able to, let me see here, just make sure that we're all on the same, here we go, yep. Conduct a needs analysis of adult ESOL students, apply methods of teacher self-reflection and peer observation, align adult ESOL program goals, curriculum, and teaching materials and student profiles, apply second language acquisition theories and methodologies to adult ESOL contexts, plan lessons that apply learner-centered teaching strategies, and support fellow adult ESOL teachers through a sustained community of teaching practice. So the following are the course modules that were developed to meet the course outcomes. So we have Module 1, Developing a Community of Teaching and Learning. So participants here in Module 1 describe how to identify an experience as a learner and teacher, how that shapes and informs their learning and their teaching. They also identify processes for teacher reflection and professional development that are most relevant to their teaching practice and create a teacher observation task for the purpose of professional development through reflective teaching and peer support. In Module 2, Your Adult ESOL Teaching Context, participants analyze diverse program options for teaching adult English language learners and how they apply to their teaching context, as well as analyze their student and program goals, strengths, and challenges, and how those all align. And then Module 3, Second Language Teaching Approaches, participants identify theories of second language learning and illustrate examples of second language teaching approaches within their contexts. In Module 4, Planning for Adult ESOL Teaching and Learning, participants identify strategies that support the planning for learner-centered instruction and outline a weekly lesson plan by synthesizing learner-centered teaching and learning strategies and activities. And in Module 5, the final module, Differentiation in Adult ESOL Classes. So participants identify differentiation teaching strategies for multi-level and diverse classes and bring it all together by developing a weekly lesson plan outline by applying differentiation teaching strategies for multi-level and diverse classes. So it's an action-packed course. So the course readings and lectures are largely based on the excellent book, Teaching Adult English Language Learners, A Practical Introduction by Betsy Parrish. And of course, additional readings, resources are provided as needed. And as you mentioned, they're shared by the participants, the course participants ourselves. Okay, so I'd like to briefly go over the activities within each module and then take you to the course. So each module has a module overview, a book club activity. So this is a brief lecture on the textbook readings, as well as discussion questions for participants to respond and to share further ideas and resources. There's an application activity in each module to facilitate application of course concepts to their context and to share these applications with the cohort. There's a reflection activity for the cohort to relax, to reflect and envision on different topics that are related to the course, they're related to their teaching. So this activity provides a more internal focus and space to cultivate well-being, as well as comfort with sharing deeper aspects of identity, teaching practice, and our experiences. And then we have resources to share, is an activity to crowdsource and share resources. And finally, feedback to the instructor. And this is for participants to provide feedback, reflect on what they did well in the module, as well as to envision how they want to engage in the following module. This is really important to continue to stay up with, how did we do, right? What did we do well? And what do we want to do better as we're progressing throughout the course? So again, this is reinforcing this kind of growth mindset that's so important to us as professionals, lifelong learners, but especially to our students who are also professionals, lifelong learners, right? And need to apply this kind of growth mindset. So we can serve as a model really for a growth mindset and for lifelong learning for our students. So in addition to the asynchronous course activities, there are synchronous Zoom meetings that are scheduled throughout the course to enable participants to meet each other and engage in real-time discussion. So these meetings are always dynamic and go beyond my expectations. I mean, you put a group of teachers together and you get them going on their students, on their teaching, and you know how that ends up. It ends up with, some incredible stories, some insight, resources, collaboration. So that's a really special thing about this course as well, is it's not just an asynchronous course. It's not just self-guided. There all are opportunities throughout the course for interaction, whether that be through the discussion boards or through our synchronous meetings. Now, these Zoom meetings are recorded and shared on our Canvas site for those who can't make the meetings on that particular day. Okay, so let me take you here on a little tour. So here is the course site. This is actually the course site for our next offering of the course, Introduction to Teaching Adult ESOL. So you can see here, again, I'm sharing this so you can get a preview of the course, but also I'm sharing this to all of you who are designing instruction and designing courses. This is for you as well. So here we have a welcome page, an overview of the modules, a video introduction, an overview of the syllabus and the modules, and a bit about the notification settings and kind of Canvas tools that are available. Okay, right now we're in the instructor view just so I can have access to everything and show you everything. So we have a course syllabus here. And as you can see here, we won't go through the whole syllabus, but you can see the contents of the course syllabus. And we have the overview, the objectives, the course text, a bit about the online course environment, technology requirements, those synchronous meetings on Zooms, discussion activities, course completion and awarding of a certificate, that a bit about instructor feedback, and really being open to feedback, not only instructor feedback, but also letting students know that I'm open to their feedback as well, and an overview of the course module map. And so let's look at the overview of the course. So we're going to go to this module view, and we see here we have a needs assessment, a questionnaire. So that's the first activity. And then we see here we have these 5 modules, as I explained in that previous slide. So within each module, again, we have the module overview. In this module, it's a little different. The reflection comes early because it's the first module. And this is an opportunity for course participants to share a bit who they are, to reflect on who they are and as individuals, as teachers, and to start building this community of teaching practice. Then we have a book club activity, the application activity, resources to share, and the feedback to the instructor. So within, I'll just go ahead and click in a little bit. So we have the module overview, a module overview video. I really recommend, as you're building courses, to have as much visual support and not just text. So it's nice to have a guide through these asynchronous courses. So we have an overview of the course activities, and then we get into our reflection activity. I actually have a guided mindfulness audio to help facilitate the reflection. And in this space here, participants can post their contributions and reply to each other. Then we have this book club activity, right? And each activity also comes with a rubric. So it's really important to provide a rubric to be transparent and clear about what the expectations are for posting, response posts, and timeliness, key terms and concepts, and discussion questions. And then there's a lecture that I provide, again, just to provide some reinforcement on those key terms and concepts from the textbook. And then an application activity, all right? In this case, the application activity is an observation task. And so this can be an observation task for self-feedback or for peer feedback. So this course is really trying to guide the participants in engaging in communities of practice, not only in the course, but also at their school site with their colleagues. So it's kind of, practicing, building the skills here, and then enabling them to apply the content and the activities with their colleagues, with their students. And then we have our resources to share section, and these are resources to share that are relevant to the topic of the module. Okay, so I just wanted to give you that kind of module overview, and we have the same thing here for each module: your adult ESOL teaching context, second language teaching approaches, planning for adult ESOL teaching, and differentiation, right? And so here are where the recordings are posted of the Zoom sessions. Okay, thank you for letting me take you through that tour. So here's some feedback from our participants that we present in their final module, a final feedback form. And there's a question on there that asks, would you recommend this course to other teachers? Why or why not? So the first participant that I'll share their feedback here says, I've learned so much and met wonderful like-minded people. And yes, I would highly recommend this course to other teachers. So we mentioned that, right? To connect with like-minded people. Someone say consensus. It's so important to preach to the choir and get reinforcement, right? As much as anything. So this is a space where you have like-minded people who are going through the same and similar things, and form a community around that. The second one is absolutely, because it gives fresh ideas and provides connections to new colleagues. That's really big, right? Connections to new colleagues, not only in the city that they're in, but across the state. The third comment here is most definitely, I think the development of a community through a course like this to be invaluable. I love the idea sharing that takes place. I love the idea sharing that takes place. And then, yes, always great to learn and reflect. We are lifelong learners, and we all need reminders too of being effective teachers. Of course, I really enjoyed the flow of sections and the resources shared. I would definitely recommend this course, not only for the breadth of materials, but from my perspective, the variety of ages of the cohort. This group had instructors of all age groups and their concomitant perspectives, which I feel is crucial to avoid falling in a rut or a rut mindset. So I love that, right? To avoid falling in a rut mindset. I think we've all have experienced that as teachers. It's easy to kind of keep doing the same thing and kind of fall in a rut. And these kind of courses can invigorate, our teacher practice, avoid burnout and contribute to our motivation, which is infectious. It's infectious to our colleagues and to our students. And this final feedback here, I would definitely recommend this course to other teachers, but I would alert them that it is a lot of work. So I really appreciate that. And I wanted to share that with you because it is a commitment. So some opportunities, right? From this feedback and from our experience of teaching this course. So we've been able to develop teaching expertise in second language acquisition and ESOL methods. The reflection and exchange between participants across the state was valued and beneficial. The synchronous meetings through Zoom provided a continued exploration and discussion of topics such as ideas for planning for IET, lesson plan design, approaches to differentiation, leveraging the funds of knowledge students bring to the classroom, sharing of resources, and the list goes on. The online nature of the course made sustained professional development possible and accessible. And the collaborative, reflective, and supportive nature of the course activities really supported teacher well-being. Now, there were some challenges as well. Some participants, as well as through my observations, saw that there were limitations of interactions, through the discussion board activities. There's only so much you can do on those discussion board activities. There were some scheduling conflicts that prevented course participation to attend synchronous meetings. And lastly, given the richness of the activities, resources, and exchange in the course, the length of the course felt too short for some in the course. So the following is how we are attempting to address, I would say, participant feedback and some of these challenges. So the first thing is that we're providing additional dates and times for synchronous meetings, right? So trying to coordinate schedules is a challenge, but providing additional times and dates for those synchronous meetings is something that we are doing now. We've extended the course from 10 weeks to 14 weeks. So this doesn't mean that there's more to do. It just means that there's more time to do it. And given the busy schedules that we all have, this extra time to complete readings and activities are appreciated. And additional PD opportunities. So we're providing additional opportunities for exchange so people don't feel like, when this course is over, it's over. There's continued opportunities to connect, and we're doing that also through the subsequent course. So this is this next course 2, Teaching Adult ESOL Skills for Student Success. And just to give you a brief overview of that, so once you've completed course 1, you can engage in this course 2, again, free of charge to adult ESOL teachers here in Florida. And it's called Teaching Adult ESOL Skills for Student Success. So the course modules here, I won't go to a deep dive in this webinar in this course, but the course modules are a deeper dive into teaching adult ESOL. So we go into your teaching context and the adult ESOL framework, the ELPS standards that are provided through the state of Florida. And we start to analyze integrated and contextualized language lessons. So, so much of what we do as language teachers is we have content, right? We have textbooks, we have materials. Well, we also need to know how to integrate and integrate really what the needs are of our students, contextualize that instruction to meet their needs, to meet their differences in their abilities, in their learning proficiencies, in their academic backgrounds, and in their goals. So there's a lot that we have to juggle, we have to balance, and we have to plan for as adult ESOL teachers. So in modules 3 through 6, there's a specific focus on how to do that, how to integrate and contextualize language lessons for these different skills. So planning and teaching reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills. And then the final module 7, contributing to the field of adult ESOL, we bring it all together and we have a virtual conference. And so kind of like this, where I'm presenting a webinar, we ask course participants to present on a lesson plan that they modified, that they contextualized, that they taught, and that they receive feedback from their students, and they present that to our cohort. So this goes towards, again, building this professional identity, these professional skills, sharing our expertise, as well as then, having a presentation that you could potentially present at a conference, right? Such as the Sunshine State TESOL conference, the ACE conference, COAB conference, any conferences that you want to participate in, not only as a participant in the audience, but also as someone who can share your experience. And I tell you, my friends, it goes so far in how we view ourselves as professionals, and I promise you, we all benefit from hearing your voice, right? So this is the greater community of teaching practice. So you're actively engaged as a not only a recipient of information, but also as a contributor, as a producer of content and information. And it feels good. Okay, so I want to provide some time for Q&A. You can use the Q&A chat if you want. You can use just the webinar chat, whatever you would like. Please let me know if that was helpful, and if you have any questions that you would like to ask me. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. This picture has me wanting to share some tea with you. Just going to give you a little bit to ask any questions that you may have. And as we're waiting for those potential questions to come in, just if you have any questions later that come up, you're welcome to reach out to me. This is my professional website, fullcirclelanguage.com, as well as my LinkedIn. You can find me here. Just look up my name, Ramin Yaz, or Ramin Yazdan Pana, and I'd be happy to connect with you through LinkedIn. A lot of good things are happening in that space. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to my dear friend and my colleague, June Rawl.
Thank you so much, Ramin. So thank you for joining us today. Before you leave us, I would like if you would take a minute to complete our feedback survey. It's really important for us to hear from you and what you thought of this webinar. So take a minute, if you would, to answer the feedback slide. While you do that, I want to remind you of next week's webinar on September 20th. This is where I will be joined by the Department of Education, and I'm going to present to you IPDA's professional development initiatives for 23-24. So you won't want to miss this. I'm going to be highlighting some really exciting new resources for your program to use and things that you can use very quickly and immediately into your classrooms. You're going to love the new matrices. I'm going to talk to you about that. It's now electronic on the IPDA website, and also numerous workshop opportunities to online courses and just basically helping you to find your way in adult education. So we are here to support you. I thank you very much for your time and very much for your support. And Dr. Yazdampana, thank you so much for facilitating this training today.